Poverty is not the absence of money. It is the absence of power. Arundhati Roy. Singapore, the jewel of Asia, a nation where every traffic light obeys precision, where trains glide like clockwork, and where the streets shine so clean they could be mirrors. To outsiders, this is the city that made the impossible possible, a barren island that transformed into one of the richest societies on earth within a single generation. A place where crime is rare, order is sacred, and efficiency is almost spiritual. But beneath the polished surface, beyond the skyline and the spotless laws, there is another Singapore, a quieter one. It moves in the background, like a soft hum beneath a symphony. It is the Singapore of those who keep the city spotless, but whose own lives are filled with silent struggle. This is not the Singapore of tourists. This is the Singapore of the unseen, the invisible hearts that hold the nation up, even when they are nearly invisible to it. Chapter 1. The unseen side of success. In the West, poverty screams. It spills onto sidewalks and sleeps under bridges. But in Singapore, poverty whispers in clean corridors and tidy rooms, hidden behind doors of modest HDB flats where pride refuses to open the window of shame. Here, poverty wears a uniform. It wears the green vest of the cleaner who sweeps the city before dawn, the faded shirt of the elderly man selling packets of tissue near the MRT station, the weary eyes of a security guard standing 12 hours on his feet, watching over towers he can never enter as a guest. They are not homeless, not by law, not by sight, but many are home poor, living in one-room rentals the size of someone else's bathroom, sharing kitchens with strangers, counting coins before deciding if dinner is rice or nothing. Singapore calls itself a meritocracy, and in many ways, it is. But for those born into scarcity, merit often comes too late. They survive not because the system protects them, but because they refuse to collapse. They endure quietly, never begging, never breaking, because in this city, discipline is a religion. Chapter 2. A price called dignity. The poor in Singapore rarely call themselves poor. Here, dignity is worth more than comfort. Even when pockets are empty, shirts are pressed, shoes are polished, and hair is neatly combed. Because poverty here is not just about survival, it is about pride. For many elderly citizens, those who built the Singapore of steel and concrete, their monthly income hovers around $1,000 or less. They live on savings that have long run dry, selling tissue, collecting recyclables, or working part-time in hawker centers to afford the next meal. And yet, they smile. They do not ask for pity. When spoken to, they simply say, "We manage." But in Singapore, manage is a word that carries pain. It means skipping the fruit because the bus fare comes first. It means choosing between medicine and electricity. It means enduring with quiet grace because showing weakness feels like losing face. Poverty here does not beg, it perseveres. And that perseverance has become both the city's pride and its tragedy. Chapter 3. The system that works and doesn't. Singapore has no official poverty line, no number that says, below this, you are poor. Because the government's philosophy is different, it believes in self-reliance. Financial aid exists, community grants, ComCare assistance, housing subsidies, food vouchers, but to receive them, one must prove need through layers of paperwork, earn even $1 more than the limit, and you may be told you are not poor enough. It is a paradox unique to Singapore, a system that lifts millions, yet leaves thousands hovering just above the edge. A structure that eliminates visible poverty, but also hides invisible hardship. Poverty here does not look like starvation. It looks like exhaustion. It looks like an old man napping on a bench after a 12-hour shift. It looks like a grandmother counting coins under fluorescent light, smiling as she hands her grandchild a $10 note, pretending it's easy. Singapore's system works, but only if you can keep up. And not everyone can. Chapter 4. The cost of perfection. Singapore's miracle was built on sacrifice, discipline, unity, and relentless control. From swamp to skyscraper, every inch of progress came from sweat. But perfection, once achieved, demands to be maintained. And that is the cost. The poor in Singapore do not live in chaos. They live in the shadows of order. When tourists walk through Marina Bay, they see paradise. But paradise, too, needs hands to clean it. Every gleaming window, every polished floor, every perfect street, there is someone behind it. Someone earning barely enough to survive, while maintaining the illusion of a flawless nation. Singapore does not ignore its poor, but it rarely sees them. Because here, invisibility is a form of survival. The poorer you are, the quieter you must become. Chapter 5. Hope in Silence. And yet, amid the silence, there is resilience. There is hope written in the faces of those who refuse to surrender. Charities, churches, mosques, and temples have begun filling the gaps the system overlooks. Younger Singaporeans are asking difficult questions. Why must success be so expensive? Why must dignity come with struggle? Community kitchens serve thousands of meals each day. Volunteers deliver food to elderly citizens who live alone in old HDB flats. And slowly, a culture of compassion is awakening. Because even in the city of discipline, the heart still beats. And every act of kindness, however small, is another crack of light entering the walls of Chapter 6. The true measure of wealth. So what does it really mean to be poor in Singapore? It means working hard, yet barely staying afloat. It means living in one of the world's wealthiest cities and still counting every coin before bed. It means surviving in the shadows of skyscrapers you helped build. But it also means resilience, the kind of strength that cannot be measured by income, but by endurance. For in this city, even the poor are proud. Even the forgotten remain dignified. And maybe that's the paradox of Singapore, that beneath the perfection lies a humanity so quiet, so disciplined, that it becomes invisible to the eye, but unforgettable to the soul. Because in the end, poverty here is not rebellion. It is quiet survival, wrapped in dignity, spoken in whispers, and lived with honor. Chapter 7. The Future of Compassion. The story of Singapore is not yet complete. Its skyline may have conquered the clouds, but its soul is still learning how to breathe. This city was built on discipline brick by brick, rule by rule, law by law. It rose from swamps and scarcity into glass towers and global praise. But now, a quieter revolution is stirring, not of politics or policy, but of perspective. A new generation is awakening. They walk the same spotless pavements, yet see what others once overlooked. Where their parents saw efficiency, they see fatigue. Where their grandparents saw pride, they see pain. They do not resent the system they respected, but they question the silence it built. These young Singaporeans are not rebelling against order. They are redefining it. They are asking what it means to succeed, not just as a city, but as a community. For them, progress is not perfection, it is compassion that endures. They begin small. A teenager donates his allowance to a food bank. A student spends her weekend tutoring a child who cannot afford lessons. An architect designs cheaper, warmer homes for the elderly. A company pledges not only profits, but purpose. They share stories on social media, exposing what statistics hide. They film, they write, they speak, because silence, they have learned, protects no one. And in their voice, Singapore begins to soften. Not weaker, wiser, not slower, more human. The city that once prided itself on being clean is learning to be kind. The nation that once silenced its flaws is learning to listen to them. For decades, Singapore taught Asia that discipline could build prosperity. Now it may teach the world that empathy can sustain it. The poor will not disappear overnight. No policy can erase struggle. But if tomorrow's Singapore can blend strength with softness, order with understanding, then poverty will no longer be a silent shadow. It will be met with open hands, not out of pity, but partnership. Because true success is not a skyline. It is a society that remembers everyone who built it. It is a nation where no one is too small to be seen, too poor to be heard, or too tired to be cared for. And perhaps that will be Singapore's next miracle, not the perfection of its system, but the perfection of its heart. If this story moved you, share it. Let the world see beyond the glass towers and the glowing streets, because to understand Singapore is to see both its brilliance and its burden. The measure of a nation is not in its wealth, but in how it treats those who have the least. This is the Asian Scrolls, where truth meets the unseen,